The Biggest Cannibal is a weightlifting MMORPG. Your basic goal is to acquire protein and get as swole as you possibly can. The idea for this came when I was living with a really crazy bodybuilder who constantly gave me lectures about protein. And I started thinking one day about protein, and I was like, well, I like steak. But if I ate like a lion steak, its protein count would probably be higher because it's from a predator as opposed to an herbivore. And then I thought like, okay, well, what if you ate a person? And then I was like, all right, well, what if you were someone who ate people, but you only ate like professional athletes? Or what if you were a cannibal who only ate other cannibals? Or what if you were a cannibal who only ate other cannibals who only ate professional athletes? And it just goes on and on from there to higher and higher protein counts. So in the game, the lowest quality protein that you'll find abundantly all around are protein shaker bottles. You'll have bushes, and on the bushes they'll just have little protein shaker bottles hanging off of them. And you can grab them and shake them up and get yourself some protein, and that'll help you start the game, but it's not a very good protein. So to move up from there, there will be animals that you can kill and eat with various forms of protein in them, and there will be people, NPCs that you can eat, some of them regular people, some of them professional athletes. And then from there, since it's an MMO, it's player versus player, and it's about eating other cannibals. And whatever protein that cannibal ate is collected in the metadata so that the higher ranked cannibal you eat, the higher ranked the protein quality is that you get from that person. If you get killed and eaten, you just respawn at a save point and you can keep playing over and over again. You're always respawn at whatever your last levels were before you die. So the game is about weightlifting, but it's actually set in the middle of the woods in like a hunter-gatherer type of society, caveman stuff. And so you'll find under trees just brand new state-of-the-art weightlifting equipment, and you have to search around to find it. When the game starts, you're super skinny, and then you just slowly get buffer over time. And it's really designed to go on forever. There is no end. As long as you want to keep playing it, there will always be ways to level up. The only weapons that you have are like spears and clubs and stuff like that. But there are just weird things from the modern world that are randomly placed around there. Particularly having modern weightlift equipment just sitting there under a tree. And when you find it, it's kind of like finding a blacksmithing table in Skyrim. You just go over to it and you click the weightlifting button. Let's say you want to make your chest bigger. You just find one of those machines that's a chest press and you click the button and you do a bunch of weightlifting. Now it'll ask you for how much protein you have, and if you don't have enough protein, it'll tell you you can't level up in that area. You also need carbs to digest your protein. Not a lot, but if you eat nothing but protein, then it'll say like you can't level up because you can't digest the protein you already ate. So you gotta find carbs, and they're hard to find. The only place you can find them is these little gnome people who don't eat any protein. They're very tiny, and they cook sweet rolls that you have to buy from them. And that little carb helps you digest your protein so that you can keep on weightlifting. And it's kind of hard to find the gnomes because they're scared of you, so they hide and they scatter. And you might even have to do little quests just to get permission to buy a sweet roll from them. It's an MMORPG, so you're gonna be fighting other players pretty soon in the game. And all you have to fight with are clubs and spears. And your muscles kind of serve two purposes. One is that the bigger your muscles are, the more you can absorb damage without dying. And then two, your strength as you push your spear or club increases by however much muscle mass you have. Like all RPG games, there are quests to go on throughout those woods, and you can even link up with other players to team up and complete quests. That is, if you're not constantly fighting each other, which is a big part of the game. Basically, anytime you see another player, you can decide whether or not you want to eat them or if he's too big to even try, but in that case, he might eat you. You could be stopping to lift weights and all of a sudden someone else wants the bench press and they just kill you and eat you. Now, after they kill you, it takes a few seconds to eat you, like they have to cook you, but it's kind of like a sped up gameplay. But you're vulnerable then that they could fight you while you're doing that, or just beat you away and steal your protein before you get a chance to eat it. There will be a variety of supplements in the game, and they all almost work like magic spells. For example, if you find some Inno Explode, then you can do twice as much weightlifting. If you saved up a bunch of protein, normally you would have to wait in between sessions before you can level up. But with Inno Explode, you can keep going. And each supplement will have a slightly different trait, and you probably have to go on quests just to find them. And we might even do a partnership with GNC where we use real GNC products in the game and just do advertising for them in the game. The game is called The Biggest Cannibal, and there's a super boss you can get to at the end of the game named Ralph Emerson. And he's really, really big. He hangs out in this lair. Like everywhere else, it's just the woods, but when you get to Ralph's lair, it's actually got like Roman columns and it's a really ornate place. And he pretty much roams around there just kind of ranting to himself. He has a lot of books about Greek mythology and he thinks he's the Greek god Saturn. If you make it to his lair and kill him, you get the highest possible protein count. However, it's really hard to get there, and you'll probably need to team up with a bunch of different cannibals just to take him down. He's extremely strong. He doesn't even have a spear or a club. In his case, he just pulls a tree out of the ground and beats you to death with it. Some other quests are to sneak in there and steal his books. Stealing his books really pisses him off. Also, you can steal his carb source. Ralph has a very special carb source called a Sonic. It's actually a tiny little cup of very special ice cream with very special toppings. And he has a whole team of gnomes that make it for him. But if you disrupt that, then he can't digest his protein anymore. Like the players, Ralph respawns over and over again after he's killed. So you can kill him 100 times if you want. And in the game, he'll gradually get harder so that you always have a challenge. Well, thank you for watching another episode of SS Street Fighter. Please leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to join the Street Fighter Army. Also, please support me on Patreon. The link to my Patreon is in the description below. I want to give a special thank you to my first supporter on Patreon, my stepdad, and the legendary world champion skydiver, Charles Brown, for being my first supporter. Thank you to him.